anything that is done with kamya drishti, desire. In fact, our culture never prohibited anything to be done with desire. This is not a culture where, don't have desire and all. That's not at all true. You can have desire and do things. So, kamya karyaha, karmaha are allowed. But the only thing that our framework says is when we do anything with desire, the rules are very tight. And it's only logical. You show your genuine effort, I will bless you. If you don't show your genuine effort, I won't. So that is why the diksha of the wives are very important. You don't get, just because you just call a few, outsource, call a few purohits. Most of us, we do like that. We call the purohit, they keep shouting, we socialize. And then finally, Deepa Radhana, something happened, we also join the party. And then generally along with them. Phala Siddhi will not happen in Kamya karmas. In Kamya karmas, the rules are you have to, in letter, spirit and bhava, you have to show complete shraddha. So that is why he says, no, Putra Kameshti is not because Vasishta and Rishishanga came and did the ahuti. Because they showed their shraddha. And so that's why he says to the wives, you observe Diksha. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So there are some rules like that, which are very, very important. When we do a Kameshti, rules are very, very important. In one of Sargas, a little bit we will see. Nishkam, the rules are not like this. Because when you do Nishkamya, then little bit of errors are generally not, see, first of all, errors are not allowed. Because that is an expression of bhava. If you take things casual, only errors will happen. See, if I invite my CEO to my office, I take such a minutest detail to even make sure the floor is properly mopped, the flower vase is kept properly, the chairs are arranged properly. That is a matter of detail. Errors generally will not happen if you have Shraddha and Bhava. Now, even after that, sometimes errors can creep in. Anivarya, sometimes beyond Indriya Atita, things can happen. So there, if it is Nishkamya, there is no Apavada. But if it is a Kamya Karyas, you have to pay a price. See, that's a framework. It looks like a logical framework. So we have to be extraordinarily, there is one Upanishad only for that, no? Kathopanishad. So only for that. Because there was a Kamya Karya which he did. And his son asked, he was doing very, not with Bhava. He was giving old cows and so on as Dhanam. Let's say the son got, that entire Kathopanishad. It's an example of why when you do anything with desire, you need to be absolutely on the brim of your Bhava, Bhakti and Shraddha. Then Phalasiddhi will happen. Today Phalasiddhi doesn't happen because a lot of us don't do it like that. That's the idea. So a couple of shlokas from here. This 15 shloka is repeated in the 13th chapter also once again. Anyway. Tadaham yashtum ichchami shastra drishtena karmana. Shastra drishtena. Because it's a kameshti. So when you do kameshti, it should be as per Shastra. There is no room for making violations. That's why he says, Shastra drishtena karmana katam prapsyami aham kamam buddhihi atra vicharyatam. He is telling the council, I want to obtain the fruit. I am with a desire. I want to obtain the fruit. Since I want to obtain the fruit and I am doing with a desire, absolutely no violation is to be done, is allowed. Therefore, please find out how it has to be done. Tell me, counsel me properly. That's what he says. Buddhihi atra vicharyatam. Please use your expertise and guide me in such a way that no errors happen. Because sapalata bhavitavyam. My action must result in fruits. So therefore, please tell me what is to be done properly. Shastra drishtena. So that is what this, I was just now mentioning about this. Then little later he says, Saravyas chottare, Saravyaha cha uttare tire. On the northern banks of Sarayu river. Saravyas chottare tire. Yajña bhumihi vidhiyatam. Please set up the Yajña bhumi. on the northern banks of Sarayu. Yajña bhumir vidhiyatam shantyascha abhivardantam yatha kalpam yatha vidhi. That has to be emphasized. It should be yatha kalpam. Kalpa is a big science of how to do yajna. Please understand that I have been teaching this in my university to my students actually. In great detail I taught this to them in about 4-5 sessions. Because I wanted to give them how did the Vedic people live. For Vedic people, everything was Agni. That's why in Puranas, everything is Agni Sakshi. That's why Sita did Agni Pravesha. Agni is the only Sakshi Pratyaksha Devata. That's why in Rig Veda, the first mantra is Agnimi Ile Purohitam Yajñasya Deva Mritvijam Hota Aram Ratna Dhatamam. Agni is the courier. See, in our Vedic scheme of things, all gods are offered their ahutis, and the only person who will receive the ahuti is Agni. Agnim Ile. That's why Agnim Ile. You have to first pray Agni only. Agni was very, very important. And Yajña was Vedic people's living, if you see, for them Agni was very, very important. So every one of us, suppose they have 2 Agnis. One is called Shrauta Agni, other is called Smarta Agni. I mean, none of us have it, including Brahmins. I mean, it is for everyone except the Shudras, because you cannot constrain them so much of, because you are asking them to do a lot of work. You should give them little concessions. You can't put them into all these and also do a lot of work. That's why Shudras were always exempted from this. They were given alternative ways by which they will reach salvation. But for the other 3 jatis, the Vaishyas and the Kshatriyas and the Brahmins, who are all by and large on the executive, if I had to use today's terminology, these 3 are a white collar. Shudras are blue collar. You can't put the blue collar workers into too much of constraint. It may not be possible. Then work will not get done. So you have to give them some other methods. So that was the Varna Dharma. So for Vaishya, Shudras and Brahmins, there are 2 types of Agnis. One is called Shrauta Agni, other is called Smarta Agni. Brahmins don't follow any of those. Minimum Brahmins are supposed to have it. Even Brahmins don't have it. There's something called Shrauta Agni. For all Shruti, Shrauta comes from Shruti, which is Veda. Smarta comes from Smriti, which is Manusmriti, Yajña Smriti, Narada Smriti. See, 2 types of Agnis. When people get married, they are supposed to have 2 types of Agnis. Now, how do you maintain this Agni? And this Agni must be used for lighting your Anteshti. The final Ishti is consigning this body to Panchabhuta again, after the soul has gone. For that, this Agni has to be used. Now, if this Agni is lit on the first time on the day of marriage. Now, how do you keep this? There are methods. That's why Shayam Pratar Agnihotram Bhuktva. Shrauta Agni, if you have to maintain, morning you have to do one Agnihotra, evening you have to do one Agnihotra. So the fire is kindled and maintained. 12 hours the fire will remain. That's why Pratar Agnihotra and Sayam Agnihotra for Shrauta Agni. For the Smarta Agni, there is something called Pratar Upasana and Sayam Upasana. And now nobody does. Agni is center to everything. And with Agni, everything is done, and the mechanism to do is called Yajña. And now Yajña is so important to living. So you need a body of knowledge to govern Yajña. That is called Kalpam. That's why he says Yatha Kalpam, Yatha Vidhi. As per Kalpa. So I will now talk about Kalpa. Kalpa is very, very important. So there are 6 Vedangas. See, we have what is called Chaturdasha Vidyasthana, of which 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, 4 Upavedas. In Vishnu Purana, there is something called Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. But our university, we have taken it very seriously. We will teach every student Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. They will really know what our ancestral system is in a nice way. We have an 8 credit course on it. We are doing it. These are all part of that first course which we were teaching there. So there are 6 Vedangas. Siksha, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chandas, Kalpa and Jyotisham. So that's what the shloka, it says Siksha, Kalpo, Vyakaranam, Niruktam Chandasam Chayah, Jyotisham Ayanam Chaiva, Vedangani Shadevatu. There are 6 Vedangas. And they are all very, very important. Siksha is a science of pronunciation. In Taittiriya Upanishad, we started with that. Siksham ya akya syamaha varnaswara matrabalam samasantanaha. Those are the part of Siksha. It's a science of pronunciation. Vyakarana is the syntax. If I have to use computer language, syntax. Rules governing words, meaning grammar. Niruktam is like a dictionary for Vedic terms. There is something called Nigantu. And a commentary on Nigantu is called Niruktam. It's a difficult, otherwise you cannot, without these 6, you cannot make sense of Veda. Vedic mantra cannot be read without these 6. In terms of reading, in terms of using it, in terms of applying it, you need all these 6. That's why it's called Vedanga. So Nirukta is a book of synonyms. 1772 words.
Give the context.
Yeah. So that is called Niruktam. Then Chandas is all about meter. You have, Brigati, Pankti, Gayatri, Ushnik, Anushtup. These are all Vedic Chandas. In Laukika, there are about 45 Chandasas. Shardul, Avikridam. There are different types of Chandasas in Kavya. But
that is all part of the books. Chandas covers everything. Will it cover the Vyavahara Chandas?
Yeah. Chandas Shastra is there. Lagada, there is one person, Lagada, who has written which has all the. But Vedic Chandas are in Chandas. So now Laukika Chandas is also there. Anyway, and then comes Kalpa. Kalpa is an operation manual. Because Yajña is not a small thing. You see in chapter 13 what arrangement Vasishtha is going to ask people to do. So I will talk a little bit about Kalpa. I want to take this opportunity to introduce to you a little bit of Kalpa. And then Jyotisha is about, astronomy, time. In fact, many things have to be done. So notion of time, they never had a watch. Daytime also they will tell time in plus or minus 3 minutes. Night time also they will tell time looking at the sky plus or minus 3 minutes. So knowledge of astronomy is very, very important to do many things. All these are part. Without these, you can't do anything said in Vedas. So Kalpa is one of them. So Kalpa has 4 components. One is called Shauta Sutras. All Shruti, Vedic, whatever Vedic, the Paurnam, what I call it as, Pratar Agnihotra, Sayam Agnihotra, Dashapurna Masa, Chaturmasya, Pashubandha, Soma Yajña, Vajpeya. So many things which have to be done from a Vedic angle. Those are all laid down. It's all operation manual for it. It's called Shauta Sutras. All are in Sutra form, in concise rules. Then Grihya Sutras, which is for Smarta. You have 16 Samskaras. Garbha Adana Arabhya, Anteshti Paryantam. So many Samskaras are to be done. Those details are all available in Grihya Sutras and Dharma Sutras. Dharma Sutras is about code of conduct of living in a society. See, in a society, you have to have some rules and regulations and do's and don'ts. Otherwise, nothing is, if you don't have rules and regulations of driving, with rules and regulations also, driving is becoming difficult. Assuming there is nothing like going on the left, then you can understand the chaos. So, Dharma Sutras. Then, Sulba Sutras or Sulva Sutras. Sulva means thread. In fact, what is amazing, in fact, when I was teaching it in my university, I found what is amazing is all that ancient Indians did was they used only a thread. Sulva means thread. And these Vedic altars, this Vedi, Puma, they are all of different shapes. There is a Garuda China, Garuda Chit, flying kite, full of triangle, rectangle, square and circle and all that. I showed them 3 constructions to my students, how you can use a thread and construct a square. With a thread, what you can do, what they know, Bodha in a Sulba Sutra, you should see. It's taught in some Canadian university. I actually downloaded material from Canadian University, Mathematics Department, and actually American universities. That was a, pity of what I was doing. I accidentally landed their teaching. See, if you put a pole and tie a thread, you can only generate a circle. Please understand. You cannot do anything other than a circle. So we have construction to do anything with circle. That is how they have done. This Bodhayana Sulva Sutra shows how you can actually with a circle make a perfect square. So he says put a pin, do this, and then get a perpendicular of that, put another pin there, and then rotate it, and then connect the 4 points, you'll get a perfect square. Like that, all sutras are there. Because they are required for constructing the Vedic altar. They are all part of the Sulva Sutras. So it is actually an operations manual. Kalpa is actually an operations manual. Udaharanartham. Yajña. Now, katam va karaniyam, how to do the yajña? What is the methodology? Okay. Then who should do it? Very elaborate rules are there. And when you should do, that's also to be laid out. When you talk operation manual, you need all these. All these are to be laid out. They are all part of, that's why he says yatha kalpam yatha vidhi. All these are part of the vidhi. And if you do with the kamya drishti, if you violate the vidhi, finished. Kidrisha mantraha upayoktavyaha. What are all the mantras to be used? Okay, if you do a Aisha Homa, then there is a mantra which has to be used. The havis that you have to use is only ghee. If you do a Sudarshana Homa, the havis you have to use is actually sweet pongal. Like that, everything is laid out. If you want Indra Padavi, you have to do a Yajña only in a Garuda China. Bricks, number of bricks, size of the bricks, area, so many constraints are there. There are so many details. I'm only giving you a sense of it. So, Kativaram Karaniyam, Ekadashavaram, 108, rules are all there. And what are the Karanas required? What are the equipments required? There are some special equipments required. You do a work, you need all these details. They are all part of Kalpa. Then Vidhi Nisheda, do's and don'ts are to be established. And if don'ts have happened unwittingly, intentionally or otherwise, what kind of Nivaranam? They are also laid out. All those are part of Kalpa. That's why Dasharatha says, Yatha kalpam, yatha vidhi. That's why he is saying that. What kind of vastus to be used? Itara nema. There are so many nemas. For example, there is a, if you do a, Ashwamedha, first you have to get the charioteer. First the charioteer is the most important person, not your Brahmin, even later. First the charioteer has to come. And he is given the first right to start. So many details are there. This Varna, never think Varna is a very derogatory thing. We have never understood. It's a beautiful concept of roles and responsibilities and positions, and all are so nicely laid out. In Ashwamedha, first you need the charioteer to come. Nothing will work otherwise. He is the first person. Without that, nothing is going to happen. Like that, rules are there.
In marriage, we have the important role for the yogi.
No, it's all nice methodologies by which all these things are laid out and balanced in a particular way. I mean, today Britishers have come and taken it in a particular way which is very convenient to them. And 200 years we have gone through it. So we need another 200 years to get out of the right picture of that. It's not easy. So as I told, performance of, why is Kalpa so important? Because Yajña was central to the living. Agni was central to the living. Yajña was central to their living. So how to prepare the Agni, what types of people involved, what are their roles, what type of offerings to be made, all these are part of Kalpa. That is why I call it as an operations manual to do an Yajña. Look at this. These are, look very funny, but there is a lot of complication involved here. So you have 4 here. You are seeing 4, this thing here. There is a circular one that you see here. It's called Garhapatya. Grihasya adhipatihi tasya agni. That's why it's called Garhapatya. This is what we have to maintain every day. Prata upasana and Sayam upasana. Or Prata Agnihotra, it is Shrauta Agni. So Prata Agnihotra and Sayam Agnihotra. That's why you see ash there. The others are all empty. This has to be maintained every day. The others are required only when we do an Yajña. From here, the Agni will go there. This is called, Garhapatya. It is always on the west side. Then just opposite, you see a square here. That is called Ahavaniya. That is always on the east side. It's called Ahavaniya. And then on the Dakshina, south, that's why the Agni is called Dakshina. It is on the Dakshina side. That's why it's called Dakshina. Dakshina. Okay. Now, the area of the circle must be exactly equal to area of the square. You can't make just like that these altars. Don't think these are all fancy things. The area of the circle of Garhapatya must be equal to the area of the square. And if you have to do it, first you need the value of pi. Without a value of pi, you cannot get these two numbers equal. That's why we found pi much earlier. Then the semicircular also, there are the constraints on areas. The one you see in the middle, okay, that is what is used for doing your other things. Dashapurna. Dasha is actually Amavasya. Purnima is Purnama. So Dashapurnama, which means if a new moon day, full moon day, you have to do. Chaturmasya is once in four months. All these we tell mantras today. The people who know mantras keep uttering those mantras without knowing what is going on there. Dashapurnamasa, Pashubandha, Niruda Pashubandha. All these, I also utter all those mantras. But you know, you are supposed to do all that. So there are different types of Agni sacrifices. Agni Hotra is the most important thing, Shauta Agni. That's the backbone. So, you know, morning and evening are to be done. There are certain offerings of milk and all that to be given. Then Dashapurnamasa is done every fortnightly because new moon and full moon. You know, new moon day and full moon day, fortnightly. You have Chaturmasya, which has to be done quarterly. That's why it's called Chaturmasya. Okay. Then, of course, you have advanced sacrifices. There are 7 types of Soma Yajñas. Rajasuya, Vachapeya. Certain things cannot be done by ordinary people. I mean, it is not prohibiting people for any other reason. You don't have the wherewithal to do. It's a very expensive affair, actually. Particularly if you do a Kameshti, better don't do, because if you found you did it properly, improperly finished. That's why Vachapeya must be done only by Brahmins or Kshatriyas. When you say Brahmin, they are supported by Kshatriyas, actually speaking. Or, you know, Vaisyas. In some way, they bring the, you know, this thing. Brahmins will only, you know, front end the whole thing. Rajasuya can be done only by the kings. Like that, who can do what, everything is laid out. And who can do a Soma Yajña? Because I went, 2004, there was some Soma Yajña which happened after 220 years. Near Thrissur, 6 kilometers from Thrissur. So I went. So they found one person from Pune who had these conditions. Otherwise, you know, you and I cannot do Soma Yajña. He must be Ahita Agni, which means he should have that Agni from the time of marriage. And he has all the 3 Agnis with him, which is not quenched. Okay? Should have accomplished Dashapurnama, Ishti, Chaturmasya, and Nirudu Pasvanda. Only then he is eligible. Look at the last condition. His family must have performed a Soma Yajña at least in 2 generations. Beyond 2 generations, you have lost your ability, even if you had eligibility, even if you had all other eligibility. So all these are laid down in Kalpa. That's why, you know, Dasharatha says, Yatha Kalpam Yatha Vidhi. Anyway, so I just move on. There are different frequency of rites. These are all Grihya. Though so far it is Shrauta. These are all Smarta. There are Smarta rituals to be done every day. You know, you have Sandhya, you have Upasana, morning and evening. Panchamaha Yajñas have to be done every day in the morning. Okay? Monthly rites, you have to do what is called Parvana, Stalipaka, and New Moon. And it is equivalent to the other one. All those are there.
So you have some idea about Stalipaka?
Yeah, Stalipaka, we'll talk later.
Oh.
And there are other